You're right, guys. Well, it's Calplex here, and welcome to this week's video. And I actually didn't really have much planned for this week's video until my brain hit a little storm. It wasn't big, it wasn't small. It's a video idea which I have done before, but not quite the same. As you guys know, I play Skate 3. I know. Shocking. I know. That wasn't funny. But I've played Skate 3 with some controllers. I pretty much played Skate 3 with a PlayStation 2 controller. I would use the PS1 controller if I had one. I think it's in my loft somewhere. But it's very similar to the PlayStation 2 controller. I've also played it with the PlayStation 3 controller, which most people have probably played with. And then a PS4 controller, which again, most people have probably played with as well. You can use that on your PS3 if you want to. You can plug in your PlayStation 4 controller. And now I'm using the PS5 controller. This is a bad idea. Very bad. Do I like the controller? Let's just do a short summary. You know, no, yeah. I haven't used it much. Like, speed glitches right now seem okay. They're not really, like, I'm not as consistent as I would be with an Xbox controller. Pressing RB feels different. I should be able to get that flipped there, and I don't know why. And the way I had to get this set up as well was stupid. I've got a program called Xpadder, and Xpadder allows you to then map the controller to do anything you want it to do. And you can map it to keyboard functions if you wanted to. So as you can see here, if I use the D-pad, it's showing you the D-pad. So it maps it pretty well. So you can actually see what I'm doing with my controller if I do this. So who wants to use that? Comp-wise, it feels okay. Not as good as my Xbox controller feeling. I can infinite pop. Like, I'm inconsistent as hell when it comes to infinite popping. So imagine, like, even more inconsistency. That's me. I'm not even sure if this actually works on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 3. I'll test it out and let you know. Insert text here to see if it's worked. Because right now I am technically playing on a PlayStation 3, but I'm playing on a PlayStation 3 emulator. Let's see, is there another place I can go? See, doing a speed glitch on this feels so wrong. Backwards manning? Oh, it feels all right. I can use any controller for the backwards man. I haven't actually hit this clip in a long time. If you know me, and you know my thoughts on the PlayStation controller, I'm not a huge fan of the sticks. My thumbs slip off them all the time. The actual feel of the stick itself, like smoothness, glideness, everything like that, it's actually pretty good. I like how free they are, how like they don't feel like it's like a blued bearing, if you imagine that. Like doing this, like moving the stick around, feels nice. There's nothing like, there's no resistance to get it. There is resistance, but like ever so minimal. So it just glides really nicely around the analog stick. Everything else in the controller is really, like, it's there. It's pretty much a PlayStation 4. Hold on. So I do have actually a PlayStation 4 controller as well. Here's both. If you like the PlayStation 4 sticks on how loose they are, they feel pretty much similar to the PlayStation 5s. No, see, the PlayStation 5 feels a lot looser. Actually, a lot. See, the PlayStation 5 doesn't feel a lot looser. It feels noticeably looser. Which is all right. But I can't revert flip. I can't revert flip on this controller. It feels so weird. There you go. But I didn't even revert. Again, concave sticks, not my preference, but I know a lot of people do like these. I hope in the future they can actually give you like an option to remove this like section so you can put whatever sticks you want in there. That would probably make me like a PlayStation controller a little bit more if I can just swap out the sticks. The D-pad I still don't like. Xbox have done really well with their D-pad, whereas it feels very similar to the PlayStation 4 D-pad. Unfortunately, and it's no surprise, of course, there is no like integrated feel. Like if you've used the PlayStation 5 controller, there's like adaptive triggers is what I believe they're called. They work wonders actually, and if you've got a PlayStation 5 and you haven't played Astro's Playroom yet, play it. It's amazing. So the adaptive triggers, there's like no support in this game, which is, of course, it's understandable. This game was made in 2010, so the triggers are just loose. There's no like resistance to anything. They're just loose, which is great that it has that this still works like normal. Bumpers feel a little bit bigger on the PlayStation 5 controller. Yeah, they feel a lot chunkier, which isn't a bad thing. Feels good. I don't know, I feel like it's more of a challenge for me. Like I can use the PlayStation controller all right. It's not fantastic comfort wise as well with the controller. Very nice. I feel like they've learned a lot from Xbox with like smaller is not always better. They've made it just a little bit bigger from this size controller. And I mean, the PlayStation, this looks very similar still to the regular PlayStation, where like if you should put this controller next to the original PlayStation controller with analog sticks, of course, you can see that this is just a slightly improved version, of course, with a light bar. However, now if you show them this controller, you'll be like, that's from the future, yes. So with these buttons as well, I can push them in, but I can really push them hard in, which recesses them into the plastic. Controllers are all personal preference, and like it's good to see that there's like support for each one technically. But I know with games as well, they've on PC, I know that they've put like lots of support for like brand new Xbox controllers and stuff like that. Like those controllers, well, of course, they're Microsoft and Microsoft Windows. They're gonna work fine out of the box. But even like PlayStation, a lot of like games supported them straight away, like just mimicking a PlayStation 4 controller, because it pretty much is, to be honest. The other people, I feel like if like Kenny, if he used this controller, because Kenny raves about PlayStation 4 controller and how much that's the best controller that is to play. I feel like if he used the PlayStation 5 controller, he would then say actually the PlayStation 5 is the best controller to play with. I could be wrong. He could actually disagree with me. That'll do. There you go. Whatever. I feel like I know I do the one up a lot, but I want to see if this is actually good for comp wise, this controller. And speaking of controllers as well, there's actually one thing which we talked about, me, Sai, and Kenny, and we just started questioning people about this. It doesn't really matter how you play. Kenny will disagree with me on this as well. It doesn't really matter how you play, like, or hold the controller. But if it works for you, it works. Like people, I've noticed a lot play Skate 3 claw, so they actually use their index finger and hold, like, do this. Like doing tail walks, they do that. It doesn't feel right to me. No, PS4 controller sucks. I play like this, so I play both my fingers like this, and I alternate between the two. So if I'm pressing, like, if I'm doing dark catches or just doing comp, like flat ground, infinite pops, I'm doing this, right? I'm just tapping, I'll be like that. If I want to do a tail walk, my foot finger, so my left index finger drops from the LB button to the LT button. So it does that and then switches between the two. But some people play like this, which to me doesn't feel quite right. But if that works for you, it works. I just press the D-pad, just trying to find the analog stick for an Xbox controller. It doesn't feel right. And like, I know like some people have said as well, like when they're playing claw, they play like this. And then when they're doing a tail walk or something which like they want to do fast with the B button, they do up LT and then they move their finger like that and then press B like that. So the index finger is hovering over the B or the circle button whilst doing that. And then this button here then does the dark catches or another trigger button. He stopped reaching over to the left. That was actually decent. That was actually decent. But for me, and like I think Sai as well, the way we play with the controller is to do a tail walk. We literally just go, so if we did an ollie, hold up, then press LT and let go of up and press B. But many people are saying, oh, that takes more time and less, well, it takes more time and therefore less points. But there's an animation playing anyway, so that doesn't really matter. I'm very curious. If I try and do a tail walk, so I'll do 2 tail walks right now, and I won't tell you what method I'm doing for each tail walk. That's one tail walk method. That's another tail walk method. Which one was faster? I won't know. Yay. Well, that went well. Okay, Chan Center bugged and my recording stopped. Okay, we ain't going to Chan Center. What else can we do? Let's see. What else hasn't been done on the PlayStation 5 controller? There we go. So overall thoughts and feelings on the PlayStation 5 controller. I mean, if you can get it to work on like emulator and it's the only controller you have, yeah, it's all right. It plays Skate 3 well. It's a decent controller. Comp wise, I feel like if you played the PlayStation 4 controller and all 3 and you wanted to get this one, yeah, do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I'm not really putting it to its full potential because I'm not very used to a PlayStation controller. I prefer an Xbox controller as always. But I feel like if you're very used to a PlayStation controller, go ahead, give this a go because it's very much It feels nicer. It just feels it feels like a more improved PlayStation 4 controller. And saying that, it's only when my thumbs sweat ever so slightly, that's when my thumbs slip off. Because right now they're not sweating and they're grippy. They're grippy, yeah. But yeah, that'll do it for this week's video. I'm not sure if it was short or if this didn't have anything much in it. But yeah, I've pretty much touched every controller now on every skate game. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X controller. And the winner still has to go to, I think I've already used all of them, the Series X controller, my current controller choice. I feel like if I still had I still have my 360, but if I stuck with it all the time, I would probably still prefer the 360 controller. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week, days, and as always, cue the outro.